ISO 27001 Annex A 8.13 information backup. So this is about backups, right? This might be a little bit teaching you how to suck eggs, right? I mean, I think in this day and age, most people understand backups, but let me show you what the control wants and how you can implement it and some of the common gotchas that people often come across when it comes to going for that ISO 27001 certification. So the definition: backup copies of information, software and systems should be maintained and regularly tested in accordance with the agreed topic-specific policy on backup. So that's what the standard's looking for. The first point of call is going to be having a backup policy. So, I provide you with a backup policy. It's part of the ISO 27001 toolkit. You can write a policy yourself. The policy sets out what you do when it comes to information backup, not how you do it. Your information backup is going to be based on your information classification, right? So you've got that information classification and handling policy, and we've been through that in other tutorials about how you classify that. What we're looking at here is making sure that we've got backup copies of our data. There are many different ways to doing it. Most of the solutions that are out there right now are cloud-based solutions, very, very easy to implement, very, very straightforward when it comes to, making sure that your backups are in place. But some things that we need to do. First of all, we need to have that policy in place. That's going to be based on our requirements. We identify our requirements by doing a BIA, a business impact assessment. There is a tutorial on the BIA. We've covered it. It is another Annex A controls. The basics of a business impact assessment is it sets out all of our systems, and then it prioritizes those systems, and then it prioritizes the recovery time, how quickly we need that system back, and it covers the amount of time that we can go without that system before it causes us a problem. The prioritization of that and how quickly you need it back is clearly going to influence and guide what it is that you do in terms of your backup. How often you do your backup will impact on the ability to recover. If you're only backing up once a day, then you're only going to be able to back up to recover from yesterday. So you're going to be understanding what your requirement is. In a high transaction environment, you may be backing up more often than that. It's going to be down to how important that data and that information is for you. So you understand what your requirement is, you do the BIA. Then you implement your backup technology. Speak to your IT teams, right? Speak to your technology teams and understand what technologies are available to you, and then go away and implement that technology. The one caveat and the one thing that I would say here is most of those technologies now include the ability to encrypt backup. And for other reasons and other controls that we've covered, the encryption of backups is absolutely key, absolutely fundamental. So make sure that you flick the switch, tick that box. Those backups are encrypted, and you manage the encryption and the keys and the passwords around that. Okay, you don't want to encrypt it and then not be able to recover it, but make sure that that data is encrypted. What we need to make sure is when we're doing our backups, we will cover it as part of our BIA. Are we meeting the requirements of the law? One that catches people out here is, when it comes to data protection, data regulation, GDPR, anything to do with personal data, if people invoke a right to be forgotten, when we get to the point where data is beyond its useful life and it should be being deleted, backups are often one of the areas where we can trip over, right? Depending on how long you're keeping them for. So you need to include your legal obligations when it comes to your scheduling of backups and your technical implementation of those backups. Speaking of retention, we're going to implement a retention schedule. So you're going to be working out how often you want to do the backup and then how long you want to keep those backups for. If it's this father and grandfathering, so we do a backup, you might do a backup daily, then we do a weekly backup, we keep that weekly backup for 12 months, then we do a monthly backup. So we've got multiple layers of backup, but you're going to put in your schedule that's appropriate to you, and you're going to speak to your IT teams to understand what it is that you should be doing, technically how you should be doing it. That is all well and good, right? That gets us our backup. We know what it is that we need to back up. We put our technology in, we're encrypting it, we've got our schedule, and we've got all those backups. But now what? What the standard wants us to do, and what common sense tells us that we're going to do, is we're going to test recovery. It is pointless having a backup that we cannot recover from. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in a schedule of backup recovery tests appropriate to you. Again, guidance maybe once a month, but it's going to be proportionate to the kind of data that you've got and the transaction volumes you've got going through it. And you are going to do a backup recovery test. You're going to test it. and you're going to keep records of that recovery test, the successes of failures, and through continual improvement, you're going to feed that back in if changes are needed to ensure that that test is successful going forward. Okay, so we have our backups and we do our backup testing. What's an auditor going to check? They're going to check your documentation. So they want to see all of these schedules. They want to see the policy. They want to see that you understand what your backup requirements are, that you've done your BIA. Then they want to see that backup in operation. They're going to get you to log into systems and show them what the schedules are, show them that the tests, that the backups have been successful. Then they're going to want to see that you've done the tests. They're going to want to see evidences that the tests were successful. So be prepared to show them whatever backup technology you've got, to show them and go into the tool and demonstrate to them that you've done it. A mistake that we see is that you haven't implemented backup appropriately. So again, if you don't know what your requirements are and you're not backing up the right thing, you might as well not be doing backups, right? That you have to make sure that your backup is appropriate and proportionate to you. Not testing. Big mistake, right? Not testing, just relying on it, just going, oh, it's a backup technology, it's in the cloud, everything's fine. Not testing it, not understanding what your schedule was, not understanding that your backup is overwritten a previous backup and you can only go back so far, not understanding that data can be deleted and overwritten, right? You have to fully understand it, you have to test it. Don't just rely on it, and don't just rely on getting a green light or a green tick that says the backup was successful. Test it, recover from it, work with your operational teams to make sure that the data that they need can be recovered. Give yourself confidence that you have done backup to the best of your ability, right? Backup is going to be your savior when it comes to ransomware, and it's going to be your savior in daily operations, right? The time will come where somebody will need to recover. Do not be the person that has backups that they've never tested that they can't recover. Understanding what your legal obligations are, we've just touched on it. Again, speak to your legal counsel and make sure that what you're backing up is done in a legally compliant way and meets the needs of your regulators, because again, we do not want to be implementing backups that contradict the law, that get us into hot water further down the line. Backups aren't hard, right? Backups have been around forever. There are brilliant technologies out there, brilliant solutions out there. Work with your IT teams and you're going to be absolutely golden. My name is Stuart Barker, the ISO 27001 Ninja, and until the next tutorial, peace out.